Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and this is another Raiders Report mailbag. All of these questions, everything that you're going to see on this program is from our Thursday night football stream, where I tell our loyal subscribers, get those questions in, let me know what you're thinking. You're probably going to see a lot of trade rumors. You're probably going to see a lot of questions about our Week 9 game. I don't know what the questions are yet, so this is my instant reaction to every question coming in on the program. Let's go to Suave. What's the price for Pete to trade Geno, and what team? I mean, in all honesty, I don't think there's a single team out there that would trade for Geno Smith. And if you did, you'd have to take on that entirety of that contract, which, you know, again, like $26 million for Geno next season is what a team would have to take on. I believe it's $39 million in that 2027 year, but that is $0 million guaranteed. I know for a fact that Pete loves Geno, and I'll say this. I think there's a better chance that the Raiders would trade Maxx Crosby than Geno Smith, and not because it's a smart thing to do, but because Geno's a Pete guy. Now Maxx is a Mark guy, but I don't think anybody's going to trade for Geno. I don't think you're going to get much for him. Maybe a 6th, 7th round pick is what you get for him. Suave, if we lose the next 2 games, who plays more, Thornton or Besh or both? I actually don't know if it really matters. And because to me, when you went out and you got Tyler Lockett, that told me that this is going to be a football team that tries to get Lockett. I think you're going to see Trey Tucker. Jacoby Myers is going to be your top 3 wide receivers. If after, those 3 in terms of snaps, because target getters, I would say Besh is probably your 6th to 7th target now, and Dante Thornton Jr. is probably your 7th or 8th target now, behind Brock Bowers, behind Jacoby, Trey Tucker, Tyler Lockett, Michael Mayer, and I would even throw Ashton Genty into that mix as a target getter. I anticipate Genty probably to have more targets for the rest of the season than Thornton and Jack Besh. Do I want both of those players to get more reps? Yes. Yes, I do, especially if we lose, because if we lose, wouldn't it make more sense to give our young players who we drafted in the 2nd and the 4th round more opportunities instead of a 30-something-year-old wide receiver in Tyler Lockett? I think so. Let's go to LVXLR. Why does everyone want AOC? He is ass. I think the biggest reason is Raider fans are frustrated. And when people get frustrated, they look for solutions in the most craziest ways, right? And AOC, I agree with you. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. But if we're going to look at the sample size of what I've seen from Aidan O'Connell as a Raiders quarterback and Geno Smith as a Raiders quarterback, I'm going to take Aidan O'Connell every single day and twice again on Sunday. And I don't even think AOC is a starting quarterback in the NFL. But that's how bad Geno Smith has been. But to answer your question, I don't really think people want Aidan O'Connell. I just think people want something different than Geno Smith. So we got 4 quarterbacks on our roster technically, and I love that you asked this question, because if you had to pick a quarterback out of these 4 to start for the Silver and Black, who would it be? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. Type 7 for Geno, 12 for AOC, 15 for Kenny Pickett, 5 for Cam Miller. My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. This might surprise you, but I'm going to say Geno Smith. And the only reason why I'm going to say Geno Smith is because this is the final week. This is the week where we got to be able to figure it out. If our coaching staff, who, again, did everything that they wanted this entire offseason, and during the bye week, you went out and you got Geno's guy and Tyler Lockett, to me, you have to start Geno this week against Jacksonville. It's in a dome. It's a home game for the Raiders. Let's see what Chip Kelly can do, because I'll also say this. The last time Geno Smith had this healthy of a Raiders offense, we beat the New England Patriots, the team that right now a lot of people say is one of the best teams in the NFL. I'm frustrated with Geno too, but call me crazy, call me a Raiders fan. I think you have to start Geno Smith this week. And if Geno still looks like the Geno that we've had, then let's open that door to the Kenny Pickett AOC conversation. But maybe, just maybe, a healthy Brock Bowers can fix a lot of our offensive issues. At least it's what I'm really hoping for, man. Let's go to Silver and Blacked Out. What an elite name. I'm down to trade for Tua from that ESPN article. We can turn him around, or even a guy like Kirk Cousins, see what Darnold is doing in Seattle. I'll just say this. There's a chance that we might be able to turn around Tua. I don't want to trade for Tua because I've seen Tua have some horrific brain injuries, and the amount of money that you're going to, like $70 million for Tua Tagovailoa. $70 million is what you're going to be paying him. For a quarterback with his injury history, scares the hell out of me. Then you bring up a guy like Kirk Cousins. He's got an Achilles, bad Achilles. He's not a good quarterback anymore. The biggest reason why, though, I just don't want to do that anymore is because that's what we have done. If I'm going to sit up here and cry and yell and scream that I want adjustments made from our coaching staff, I also, me, as a host, I got to be able to make adjustments as well. And I'm done with the reclamation projects. I'm done with journeyman quarterbacks. I'm done with the old veteran. It's not what I want. I want a young quarterback. I want somebody that is our guy. I don't want the old Dolphins guy, the old Vikings guy, the old Seahawks guy, the old whatever Jimmy Garoppolo was, 49ers guy, the old Colts guy for Gardner. Like, I want our guy, and I want a young quarterback. So I don't care who you offer me this offseason. I don't care who it is, because if it's not a quarterback in the draft, I'm not interested unless you're offering me a top 10 quarterback. And top 10 quarterbacks right now on my list, I don't even know, man. Geno Smith, what the hell? If you guys do not know when I'm going to be live this week on the Raiders Report, it is a jam-packed week. If you want more live content from me, if I had to guess, I'm probably going to be live over 40 hours this week. Going to be live on game day for easily 5-6 hours there. I'm going to be live on Monday for probably 3-4 hours here. NFL deadline, I'm going to be live 5-6 hours here. Then again, 6-7 here for Raiders Broncos. And then I'm going to be back on Friday. I don't usually work Fridays, but because it's a Thursday night game, you guys can expect more content on Friday. If you want more Raiders Report, this is the perfect week to do it. In all honesty, if you've never subscribed before, it's free. Subscribe this week, and if you don't like the shows that I put out, unsubscribe. You got nothing to lose. Let's go to It's Mikey. What do you think about Jacoby in a 5th for a 3rd-round pick? So you're saying we send Jacoby in a 5th and we get a 3rd? I'm on board with that. I actually like that idea, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's kind of actually how that trade looks, right? Like, I know the Raiders want a day 2 pick. But to get that day 2 pick, you're probably going to have to give up potentially something else at this point to get this deal done based on a lot of the rumors, based on things that I've heard, based on reports that are out there right now. I don't think a team's going to give you a 3rd or a 2nd-round pick for Jacoby. But if you get a 3rd-round pick, you send him a 5th. Why this is really important is because, reminder, we have that 5th-round comp pick. Now, we did give up a 5th for Kenny Pickett, so some of you might be looking at that and going, well, Mitch, we don't have a 5th. We are projected to get a 5th-round pick this year due to, I believe it was either Nate Hobbs, it was either Merrick, Hobbs, or Spillane, somebody else last offseason. So we're going to have that extra 5th-round pick. So because we're going to have that extra 5th-round comp, I am okay giving that up if it puts us in a better position to get a player in the top 100. Let's go to 403. What up, 403? I don't care. I want the Raiders to lose every game this season. We need to draft a quarterback, and I want the best pick we can get. No more bridge quarterbacks. The only reason why I'm going to disagree with you is because of this. Are you telling me right now, and I know this is crazy, but I think it's also crazy to want the Raiders to lose every game. I've been frustrated with this team for multiple years, decades, right? But if you told me right now, if the Raiders were to win every single game for the rest of the year, it's crazy. I know. But sometimes teams need a bye week. The Raiders got healthy. If you didn't see my video that I put out earlier today, I talked to multiple players over the weekend, and it was a mental clarity, and it was a get right week for your body. And when the players that I talked to, it was the perfect time for that Raiders bye. And again, call me crazy, call me a Raiders fan. I feel like I keep saying it over and over. But I feel like the last time we were this Raiders team that we're about to be with the addition of Lonnie Johnson Jr. was week 1. A week where we beat the New England Patriots. And if we can beat the Patriots, I think we can beat any team in the NFL. Now, we look very different from that week 1, but we also haven't been that week 1 team since right now. And that's something that we have to look at. So I'm hoping that we see improvement because I don't want to lose every game this season because that's going to mean that I doubt Pete Carroll and I doubt this regime. I'm okay if the Raiders win 7 games. I'm okay if the Raiders win 8 games we don't make the playoffs. Because at this point in the season, I don't give a shit about anything that happened from weeks 1 to 8. Now, my mind, if you're the Raiders, I'm looking at this team as a 0-0 football team. Somebody clip that, right? 0-0 football team. And I want them to be able to show me from week 9 to week 17 that we got better. Because that's what I want. Adjustments need to be made. If we're not better than that, we don't have the right guys in the staff. I don't care what anybody says. I want to be able to give this team time and time and time again. But if our team, our coach that we're paying all this money to, can't be better than that first 1 to 8 week stretch, then you're not the right guys for the job. And I'll be very clear. If our team shows up flat against Jacksonville, if we look like the team up against Kansas City, up against Indianapolis, you don't have the right guys. That's why this week for me is the biggest week of the season. And quite frankly, I don't think it's close. So let's talk here a little bit about prize picks, because I love some prize picks. Geno Smith, 228.5 passing yards against the Jags. More or less? I don't know if you guys want me to answer that. But if you want to go put your money where your mouth is, then download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. On Prize Picks, how you play, it's up to you. And if you want flexibility, choose a flex play where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. And yes, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Big luck. Let's go to Mr. Champion. Our offensive line is trash. Don't think any quarterback can do anything with our line. Even with the top 10 quarterback, I can't blame Geno as much as I really want to. You can blame Geno. And I'll say this. I think the offensive line has done light years better than what Geno Smith has. I think our offensive line has done light years better than what Chip Kelly has. And has the O-line struggled this season? Yes. Yes, it has. But the offensive line has struggled more from a run blocking standpoint than a pass blocking standpoint. I don't have the updated number, but I know it was 2 weeks ago, Geno Smith had the longest time to throw in the NFL. Think about that for a second. Geno Smith had the longest time to throw in the NFL. Now, some of that was mainly his fault and Chip Kelly's fault, telling him to hold on to the football for a really long time. But Stone Forsythe has played much better than I anticipated. DJ Glaze, give DJ Glaze some credit. Yeah, I know Alex Kappa stinks, Meredith JPJ, that whole situation. But, like, with all due respect, I actually think if we had Derek Carr, an average Derek Carr, we're not 2-5. Stephen Rockwell, Patrick Mahomes can't play behind this line. I want offensive line first. If the Raiders had Patrick Mahomes, I think we would be 5-2. I'm not kidding you. Like, I think that we would be 5-2. Patrick Mahomes, Ashton Genty, and these skill position guys, and that's coming from me. Like, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. He's the best football player on the planet. And it sucks that he's in our division. It sucks that he's on an MVP tear right now. But to think that Mahomes wouldn't be able to get it done with this team, like from a talent standpoint, I think we have a more talented offense than what the Chiefs do. Not looking at quarterback, I'm saying our wide receivers, our tight end room, I would take our wide receivers and tight end over the Chiefs room. Now, I get it. They got chemistry with, Travis Kelce, Rashid Rice, Jacoby. I think Jacoby's a better receiver. You got Hollywood Brown. Then you look at somebody along the lines of Trey Tucker, Tyler Lockett, not too special there. But we got Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Brock Bowers is the best guy out of everybody on that list. So to say this statement, I get y'all hate Mahomes. Mahomes drives me crazy as well. Also, this isn't the Chiefs wave. I don't know when that ever was a thing. It's not a thing. But let's be honest ourselves. There's a lot of quarterbacks that have a winning record with this Raiders team right now. Frank, if Lockett doesn't work out, will we finally realize that Pete guys suck? Raiders. I'll just say this, and I hope that the Tyler Lockett move works out, but there are Raiders players in that locker room that it's the same song and dance year after year after year, where a new regime comes in, they bring in their own guys, and especially from this team, there's a lot more issues on the offense from that coaching staff and the players than on the defensive side of the football. But Lockett needs to play well, and I don't know if you saw the video that I put out earlier in the week, Frank, that I said this. Personally, I think Pete Carroll and Geno Smith's target got bigger. Like the target on their back got bigger. The pressure got heavier on their shoulders by the signing of Tyler Lockett. Because if Tyler Lockett doesn't work, then it's like, what else do we need to do for Pete Carroll? What else needs to be done here for Geno Smith? How many more ex-Seahawks players do we got to bring in for you to be able to recreate something that worked 10 years ago but clearly isn't working right now? I hear you. I'm frustrated as well. But I actually think Tyler Lockett's going to be a lot better for this Raiders offense. Like, Tyler Lockett or Amari Cooper, I would have taken Tyler Lockett 10 days at. I had Tyler Lockett over Amari, and it's not even close for me. And if that Tyler Lockett signing would have happened when Amari would have happened, I actually think our offense would look a lot different. What up, Live? LB for life. Do you see Lockett getting more targets than Trey Tucker? I hope not. And I mean that when I say it because Trey Tucker is a better wide receiver than Tyler Lockett right now in their careers, and it's not close. It's not close. When you look at the next-gen stats, Tyler Lockett, 97th in the NFL this year in separation. Trey Tucker, 4th in the NFL in separation per target. Put the ball in Lockett's hands. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to stretch the field, Geno, and I think that's one of the areas that I think you're really going to see this week of the Raiders have been missing that deep ball. Dante Thornton hasn't been able to do it, and we don't really have another receiver that consistently can win deep. Trey is a good deep option because he's fast, but he's actually a lot better in the short intermediate routes. Like, that's where he's best because he's just super quick, and it's hard to get a hand on him in a phone booth. But if we're talking like deep threats, I think like that's where you're going to see a little bit more from the Tyler Lockett game. I'm going to say Trey Tucker because if our offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, thinks that it's smarter to give Tyler Lockett more targets than Trey Tucker, that'll tell me, again, everything that I already know about this coaching staff. What up, Jules Kid? What would be the best and most realistic coach-college quarterback combo to turn this franchise around for our future? This is going to be a show that I will end up doing. I don't have the answer for you now. I'll just say that, like, coach/college QB combo, Pete Carroll's going to be the coach, guys. And I know Mark said it the other day, and people that watch this show, I'm not going to tell you who my source is on that one, but it's the biggest source out of all the sources. Like, Pete Carroll's not going anywhere, right? Like, I know Pete's going to be the head coach. From a quarterback standpoint, I'll go Mendoza. And I love this kid Mendoza from Indiana. He's got the arm. He's got the size. He's got it up here. And the other thing that he has that I know for a fact Tom Brady and Spy Tucker are going to like is he helped build that Indiana program. Because this is a staff that's very big on being bigger than yourself, being a part of a program, growing a program together, learning what it takes to be a quarterback from a beginning level in college to build it up like Brady did. Like, that's what Brady's going to look for. Somebody that has done it very similar to the way he's done it. And Mendoza, I'm not saying Mendoza's Brady because they're completely different quarterbacks. But from a college development standpoint, I think Mendoza's that guy. Let's go to Raider Fader. What's up, man? Do you think Crosby plays? Yes. I don't know if you saw, I put out a video earlier on Thursday, but Maxx Crosby practiced on Thursday. It was limited, but here's the thing. I was told on Wednesday that the Raiders' hope was for Butler and for Crosby both to practice on Friday. It was a hope on Friday. The fact that got bumped up to Thursday tells me it's all lights. Now, hopefully nobody suffers a setback, because speaking of setbacks, like I noticed today, again, I'm filming this on Thursday, Isaiah Paul-Lamau, full participant on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. Now, that might just be, they're trying to rest him up a little bit. But overall, I do expect Maxx Crosby to play unless he suffers some kind of setback. If he's limited on Friday, he's going. Like, you're going to have to cut his leg off for him not to play. And I think even if you did that, he'd go out there with a crutch because he's just that much of a psycho, and it's why we all love him. So you know what? If you want Maxx Crosby to play, give me those 98s down below. I will say this. If Maxx isn't 100% healthy, you have to think about not playing him. And I only say that because I don't want another Brock Bowers situation where you have a minor injury and it turns into a major injury because you don't take care of it properly. I want to see 98 out on the field. Y'all obviously want to see 98 out on the field. The entire world wants to see 98 out on the field. But I mean this when I say it. He's got to be 100% healthy, or he better be damn close to 98% healthy or higher. Let's go to I don't even know who this is, silly guy. Which is more likely, Geno getting benched, Chip getting fired, or Pete admitting that Jackson Powers Johnson is our center? Yo, I love this question. Real talk, this is hilarious. Cheers to you. What's more likely? Geno getting benched. I would say Geno getting benched, number one. Chip getting fired, number two. Pete admitting that JPJ is our center, number three. And I only say that because I actually think there is a chance that Chip Kelly is fired or steps away from football before the end of the season, because they're going to look for a scapegoat. Because if Geno's bad this week, that's where finger pointing is going to start happening. And now that Aidan O'Connell's back, guess who's going to be pointing some fingers? I got 10 of them, and I can't wait to use them this week if they lose. Santana, Mitch, is there still a world in which we still sign number 16? Jacoby? No. Jacoby and the Raiders they're going to part ways this offseason. Jacoby doesn't want to be here. The Raiders don't want him here, which, again, it's very frustrating. Now, the only way that you're going to keep him is if you pay him a boatload of money, but Jacoby and his team are going to make that price tag. Like, let's just say you could have got your Big Mac for, I don't know, $4 in August. But now that Big Mac's going to be $10 because you pissed it off. You know what I mean? Like, Jacoby and his agent, I think if they were to ask for a contract, they would ask for 15 to 20% more from the Raiders than they would from any other team out there. And I'm not saying I talked to Jacoby's team on that, but that's my gut feeling. Jacoby Myers, his time in Las Vegas is done. His time in Las Vegas is done after the season. Now, for those that do not know, I will be live. Raiders, Jacksonville Jaguars. Can't wait to be able to go live here. And for those that don't know, I'm going to be giving away a signed Raiders jersey. That's going to be our raffle item. And to the MVP of the show, I also got something special for you. So if you're a real one, you love the Raiders sport, I think that this game, Week 9, I think it's going to be the biggest game of the year. And I hope that we bring those game day vibes because it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game, baby.